welcome to the Zadzooks Happy Hour, a podcast providing commentary on the latest in film, TV, games, and comics. My name is Todd Stoll, and I'm joined by 25-year veteran reporter covering pop culture, video games, and technology for the Washington Times, Joseph Zadkowski.
No one's ever heard me sing before.
No one has heard you sing before. You just play the drums. Do you sing?
I do sing.
Do you have a mic? I didn't know if you had a mic on your kit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't you go to a gig of mine?
I went to a house party.
Yeah.
I don't remember you singing, though.
Oh, my goodness. I sang most of the songs. I made a huge impact on you, obviously.
I just remember, well, again, I had a very, very young kid.
That's true.
So there was a lot going on.
Drooling and pooping.
Yep.
Drooling, pooping.
Hey, you know what? That's the name of your next album.
Drooling
or your
and
band. Or the next band.
Soon enough.
Yeah.
Who's this?
That's Janine Melnitz.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Janine Melnitz in a Ghostbusters flight suit, which never happened. No. Anyway, we'll be with that in a minute. I'm sorry.
Not in the movies.
Oh, look, you have your Ghostbusters shirt on.
Yeah, it's my weekend apparel.
Did you get that free?
No.
Okay.
No. Well, maybe technically it was a Christmas gift.
So then you did get it free. That's fine. Hey, how are you?
Good.
Okay.
I watched both movies.
You watched two movies.
Well, I didn't watch Triple X. You can talk about that if you want.
I don't.
I'm not interested in that franchise at all. So
it's a great movie. It's a great movie only because it's of all the great action, and there's like some stunt coordinators that are fantastic. They do an exceptional job.
I thought the second one was really bad, though.
I never saw the second one, but the third one was pretty okay.
All right. Well, we can talk about a movie that I thought was really good.
Oh, I can't wait. Which one is that?
Let's talk about Get Out.
Okay.
Which is directed by Jordan Peele.
So you have the notes on that. Now, what's Jordan Peele about?
Jordan Peele is the director and the writer.
But he's a famous comedy team.
He's from Key and Peele.
Right. And
it's okay. They bill this as a horror movie.
I think it's a very thin line, and we've now proven it in this film, between a dark comedy and a horror film.
Oh, I don't think it's a horror film. I think it's a dark comedy and a psychological thriller.
Yes.
I think this is more in line with M. Night Shyamalan style.
Yes, I agree.
And if you were to take like...
This was low budget, too.
$4.5 million budget.
Oh.
Made $246 million worldwide.
Good for him.
Congratulations to that. But
you can't blow anything in this movie, so you better be very careful with your choice of words.
So this movie was created as a vehicle to discuss at the 30,000-foot level in a interracial relationship.
Right.
And there is a trip to the parents' house for the couple.
Right, the liberal parents' house.
The liberal parents' house. You have a young black man. Character's name is Chris Washington, played by Daniel Kaluuya. There's two U's in his name.
Don't look at me.
I know. So if I butchered it, I'm sorry. And his girlfriend is Allison Williams, and her character is Rose Armitage.
She's in Girls, isn't she, on HBO?
Brian Williams' daughter.
Okay.
The disgraced former NBC news host.
Good pull. Okay.
Thanks, man.
It's amazing what you can get done if you actually research.
Did a little. Well, no, I've known that. I've known that for a long time.
All right.
You have Catherine Kenner, who plays the mother.
She was Steve Carell's love interest in
40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Bradley Whitford as the father
from West Wing.
Yes. And then you have the brother, who I don't know this guy, Caleb Landry Jones. I don't know him at all.
You mean, is he the TSA agent?
No. The TSA agent is
some guy with one name.
LilRel Howery.
He was in Our Gang, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah.
In the 40s?
And he's hilarious.
Yeah. Okay.
Stephen Root. Milton from the Office Space movie.
Yes.
Like to set the building on fire.
Yep.
Take my swing line stapler. You know, that guy.
Wow.
Thank you.
You're doing impressions.
Thank you. And then a few other cast members in it. It's primarily set in one location, which is why the budget is could be low.
A suburban mansion.
I think the budget was literally spent on talent, and that's it.
Yeah.
And they maybe took just flat rate, but has a huge.
There's some effects in it.
Yeah,
some good effects.
It's not for me. It's not a scary movie. It's very suspenseful. It's creepy,
and the payoff.
Is
wonderful.
Oh, okay. So there is do we want to talk about the fact that there were 2 endings filmed for this movie?
Yeah, sure. I saw them. I watched them. Did you watch them?
I did.
Wow, you really went in on this movie.
I did.
All the chips in.
Everything went in.
Did you even listen to the optional commentary track? It was good.
I know.
Guys, very informative.
I just can't.
Okay. The director, by the way, does the optional commentary.
And we can't even. I mean, it's out on DVD now. I feel like we should ruin this somewhat.
No, I think you should say, because I didn't know anything about it going in. What you should say is talk about the alternate ending, where it's a lot more police officer heavy.
Yes, it is.
And he was trying to make a statement.
Yes, the reason that the alternate ending was ditched was because the movie was filmed right around multiple police shootings, and I think Jordan decided that rather than tie into the frenzy around all of that, he wanted to create a little bit of a happier ending, and so thus the original written ending was shelved for the alternate ending is what's used in the movie. But the alternate ending is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's terrifying. It's very bold. I mean, I will say that Daniel Kaluuya plays he's a pretty awesome actor. He really played it very well. You have a lot of racial undertones that are very uncomfortable. There is you do get a sense of the being uncomfortable as a black man in a biracial relationship, and the very liberal white parents who say, I would have voted for Obama for a 3rd term, and just there's a lot of awkwardness there, and that comes across on screen, and it gets progressively more awkward and forceful as it goes along. This is not by any means a movie about racism, nor is it a movie about like race hate at all. Actually, you think kind of going into it that's what you expect, and it's not. This movie was brilliant. I really liked it a lot.
So we have 2 strong horror films that we've already taken a look at.
Yeah, Split
was great, and Get Out. I
mean, and I have to say again, I saw a lot of M. Night sort of flavor in this movie with the crazy twists and turns and just very well done.
Yes.
So we both just
that was a twitch.
We both just looked to make sure this was recording, because sometimes that doesn't happen. So
you're going to admit behind the magic.
Stephen Root was great, albeit a very small role. I really liked him. He plays a blind art gallery owner.
And once again, this is another one of those character actors that
does not get enough credit.
That hits a home run every time he steps
been in
on.
Every movie.
Wasn't he in Fargo? A little bit.
I think he's if it's a movie that's worth mentioning, chances are if you look at the credits, Stephen Root is in it.
Yeah, and he does a great job.
He's very good in this. All the characters, I would say Catherine Keener is really menacing.
Yes.
In this role.
Unexpected.
And then you have the housekeeper and the groundskeeper. The groundskeeper is a character called Walter, and the housekeeper is a character called Georgina, and they're awesome. I mean, the whole thing is just a surprise hit, home run, for being Jordan Peele's directorial sort of debut in a completely different genre other than comedy.
Right.
I mean, crushed it.
It's off to a great start.
Amazing.
Okay.
A+.
A+. I'll give it an A+.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
I loved it. It was really good. I would watch it again.
All right, so let's go to the other one that you watched.
So we
not
also
quite an A+, I'm guessing.
No, not quite an A+. We watched The Great Wall,
right?
Which is it's the Matt Damon vehicle. Where Matt Damon plays a character called Willem, and you don't really know a whole lot about him.
He's a bit of a mercenary.
Other than he is pretty kick-ass with a bow and arrow,
right,
and a sword. I think he's pretty good with that too.
Right.
And his friend Tovar, who's played by Pedro Pascal, they're sort of running around. They're attempting to look for black powder.
Yes, gunpowder.
And
Around China.
And they end up being captured right near the Great Wall.
Right.
And they stumble upon a...
Now, I don't mind if we give this stuff away.
Yeah, they stumble upon something called a Tao Tai. Thank you. Tao Tai. Which are like...
Okay, I'll be specific.
Thank you.
They reminded me of those cat-like creatures that tried to eat Padme Amidala in Star Wars.
Okay.
They're called Nexus there. And they also reminded me of wargs, those wolf-like things in Lord of the Rings.
Well, I was going to say they reminded me of the sort of zombie animals in I Am Legend.
I can see that,
the ones that
too.
Didn't like the sunlight.
Yeah.
Not a little terror doggish from Ghostbusters. You have a queen who kind of controls this massive horde.
Right.
It reminds me of World War Z's like zombie hordes trying to climb.
Swarm like orcs, though.
They swarm.
Yeah.
The special effects on the Tao Tais, whatever, pretty good.
Right.
I mean, pretty awesome. The movie felt a little short to me. It was a minute. It was an hour and 45 minutes. Minute 45. It was
103 minutes. 103.
There were a couple great battle scenes, but I would say that the end, the climax was a bit short.
With no real purpose.
No real purpose. You had certain deaths that didn't really manifest themselves into anything that would have resulted in some sort of, issue moving forward.
Right.
You had characters redeem themselves that were very small characters.
Willem Dafoe is a dumb character.
Willem Dafoe, I have no idea he was in it. I mean, if you think about it, he was completely not needed in this movie.
No, he didn't exist. And can you explain to me Matt Damon's accent? I heard a little Spanish, some Irish, some British, and American.
I definitely heard some Boston.
Yeah, okay. So
it wasn't a bad movie.
So first of all, the strategies they're using are really fun to watch.
Yes.
But incredibly stupid.
Yes.
So stuff like the crane core jumping off the sides of the wall and poking at these creatures with giant spears didn't go so well for them.
Visually, it was cool to watch.
Stunning.
Catapulting, flaming rocks, creating,
giant spinning blades coming out of the side of the wall.
That was awesome.
Cutting the Tao in half, or whatever they're called. But really, what I couldn't understand was they had these huge supplies of gunpowder.
And they refused to use it.
They kind of waited until the last possible second when they could have really taken out most of what they needed to do with just dropping bombs.
My biggest thing is that if you really look at the fact that they have this incredible army of thousands and thousands and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, Matt Damon is the only one who apparently can wield a bow and arrow and a sword. Accurately.
Right.
And these guys are supposed to have trained for 60 years because
they come back every 20 years.
Every 60 years.
60 years, and it's like 20 centuries of this.
Yes. And it's
200 or something.
So you're not
ridiculous.
prepared for this, and it's because they keep getting smarter. So it takes some bumbling idiot to come in who just happens to be a good, arrowsman and swordsman,
right?
And all of a sudden he's the savior. And it was a tad racist at times because the white guy helps out the Chinese guy,
right?
And it was weird. It was visually quite stunning. The battle scenes and the formations that were made were very stunning. The story was pretty weak.
Yeah, check your brain at the door.
Yeah. But
enjoy it. 4K UHD, obviously tremendous. The high dynamic range really, really pushed. Each soldier group or the soldiers and generals have their own colors, their own battle colors. Yeah. There's blues and reds and purples and yellow, and it just looks amazing on screen.
And the colors are depictive of your role. So blues are the ones who jump off and poke.
Right.
And then you had reds who were arrows.
Right.
And you had, I don't remember what the yellows were. I don't know if they really ever showed them. You had these other guys who would run down the wall who were in black.
Right.
But very cool.
It was very cool. Not a lot of extras.
Surprisingly.
The only thing I really enjoyed, there was a 9-minute look at the key battles. Okay, and a lot of the stunt coordinators and everyone talked about it, which was great because that's really what this movie's about. It's about some great stunts and special effects.
Well, and they also had to have just a massive supporting cast of extras because there's not a lot of CGI. I mean, when they're running the camera down these, I mean, it's literally a couple hundred people dressed up.
Right.
So this movie
cost a fortune.
Was $150 million budget.
Oh, how much was Get Out?
4.5.
Oh,
but worldwide, it did not do well domestically. Worldwide, though, it made $332 million.
Right.
So
in China,
doubled its money.
Right.
Not one of Matt Damon's best films. C- for me.
But he's been in movies like that before.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in like something called The Brothers Grimm or something like that?
I don't remember.
All right. He was in something like that.
But yeah, this is a C film for me.
Yeah, I'll give it on 4K UHD. It's probably a B- for me. B+, B.
I'm doing it strictly on content. And
do you have any problem loading your Blu-ray with this?
No.
Okay. Because when I tried to use it on my 4K UHD player, it wouldn't play. I have now noticed Universal Blu-ray discs are not playing on my 4K UHD.
The one thing that I will notice,
sense.
and I don't know if it's just a coincidence, but the past 3 movies that I've watched that have had the same sort of intro trailers. So when I watched Split, it had a trailer for Get Out. I watched Get Out, it had a trailer for Split.
Mm-hmm.
I watched The Great Wall, it had a trailer for Get Out. And I'm like, is this thing pulling from the internet and just showing me stuff I've seen, or is it literally just a progression
I think Universal tries to pull its latest, what he considers its latest preview.
Interesting. It's a little weird, but I do enjoy the fact that you can skip the trailers and just hit play and go. I mean, that for me is a big thing. So, okay, when we come back, we're going to talk some toys.
Your favorite kind of toys.
And we'll talk
the whole world.
And we'll talk about box office for this week.
Sure.
Communities Digital News, built by the writers and editors that deliver the news 24 hours a day. Visit comdiginews.com. That's COMMDIGI news.com. And support the next evolution in news.
Okay. We're going to talk about a Playmobil exclusive. That sound.
So, by the way, I'm such a non-Ghostbusters person that when I heard that, I was like, what the blah, 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 blah is that? That is the stupidest sound I've ever heard. Why wouldn't they put the Ghostbusters theme or some dialogue on this?
That's the sound. That's the horn.
And yeah, I looked it up. That is the darn sound.
Yep.
So what are we talking about?
So we've got a couple things in front of us here. One is Playmobil's new Ecto 1 with figurines and some slime you can stick to it with a removable roof. And you've got 2 figures that come with it. Which ones are the ones that came with it? It was
Janine
Melnitz
and
Winston Zeddemore.
Both are. So anyway, if you don't know this, I believe Playmobil is kind of like the pre-Lego. It's for like the 5-year-old crowd, the 5-6-year-old crowd.
Yeah, I would say you're right. This is pretty well made.
That's pretty well made.
That's not going to fall apart. I will say that as a kid, having the Kenner version, man, you could take the doors off that thing and it would just break.
Right.
This is very solid.
I'll let you talk about it because this really is your ballpark, your forte. What's going on with it?
So the car itself, the Ecto 1 itself, is a pretty good representation of it. It's missing a few things, nothing too out of the ordinary. The windows themselves actually are blacked out for the most part in the movie. You don't really see it that much in the first one, but in the second one you do. The paint detail and the actual look of the car is great. The one flaw with the car is the back door lifts up, and since this was an ambulance or a hearse, they didn't actually do that. They opened to the side so that you could bring a gurney in and out. But I can understand why they would do that. It's a little bit more stable. It's got 2 hinges on it. I think it would be a little bit better and keep the kids from knocking stuff off. The roof itself comes off, and surprisingly very well detailed. Has a lot of what you would find in the movie. Maybe not everything, but again, something very solid that a little kid could drop, and you wouldn't have pieces flying off.
Right. You get 70 pieces with the kit that you're going to put together, but the chassis is already built, so you don't have to worry about that.
So it takes 3 AAA batteries.
That's right.
And the batteries do 2 things. They power the roof lights, and they power the siren. And this is a companion piece. They have a $70 Firehouse that you can pick up. The car itself, I think, is $50, $49.99. But for any kids who liked the new movie and who have seen the original movie, this is a pretty great toy, actually. It's very well made. It's not Hot Wheels metal, but...
Right. I consider the standard for me, I have the Corgi USA one, the
me too.
Scale size, and it's pretty sweet.
That thing you can't touch.
Right.
This is pretty great, actually. For a little kid, it's inexpensive. They can really beat it up. There's not a lot of paint on the car itself, so you're not going to lose very much. All in all, pretty solid. It's even got rubber wheels, which is nice.
$44,
yeah.
$44. The hardest part to build for an old man, anyway, was getting the tires onto the rims. That was kind of, I think kids will get frustrated by that. They're going to need their parents to get involved. I think it's really neat, the proton packs. They're really well done.
And they're very detailed, and they look like
there's proton streams you can attach to the neutrino wands, which is really cool.
And the nice thing is they clip on very well to the figurines.
Now, the figurines themselves, Janine's in a flight suit, which for you is a no-no, but for a hardcore collector might be I'll never see this, so this might be cool.
Janine wore a flight suit in the cartoons.
Right, but not a traditional one, right? You get the PEK meter.
Yeah, so the PKE meter is pretty good representation of it. The proton pack is very well done. I mean, it doesn't have all the pieces on it, but it's a pretty solid
and
look.
It's a little rubber tube to put and attach.
It's all connected, so you're not going to lose pieces.
The proton packs fit nicely in the vehicle. Yeah, you can get up to 4.
Which you have to get other sets to get
all 4 Ghostbusters.
Right. They've got a trap.
Oh, have you seen the trap? Here, take a look at the trap. Open the trap up.
I mean, it's a little...
it opens.
It's a little bit bigger to scale than anything else, but it's got a good, again, for kids, you don't want to get any smaller. They'll choke on it, so that's good.
So that's cool.
Steering wheel, you can put a figurine underneath. It's not a full steering wheel. It's about a 3/4, so you can slide a figurine in there. They do sit in pretty nicely and snug in the car, so they're not flying around. Everything can get in there and actually be pretty solid, which is nice. It's a pretty solid toy if you were to give it to a kid and not have to worry about 5 minutes later it being broken.
Right, I agree.
So...
Now, let's move on to the other piece that I had in the collection, which was the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and a Ray Stantz action figure.
Covered in
marshmallow goo, which is a nice touch on a uniform. They didn't have to do that, but they did it anyway.
It's a good paint job all the way around.
Comes up with an Ecto goggles. You can, obviously not your favorite piece, but it does work.
No, it's not... it's not accurate at all to anything. But again, to keep it secure for a kid at this age, no problem with it.
Right.
It gets the point across.
Marshmallow Man, I think...
He's pretty tiny. He's Marshmallow Man's little kid.
Right. Which makes no sense to me because they could have gone bigger. Easily.
Yeah, this probably needed to, dare I say, triple in size.
At least.
To match the scale of the original movie, but again, at a $19.99 price point.
And if you're comparing, Jakks Pacific did Star Wars at 21 inches for $19.99. They could have probably got away with this for $24.99.
What is that,
figure.
like 7 inches, you think?
Yeah, probably.
No, the Marshmallow Man is several stories tall, and his foot is about as thick as a normal person's height, which is about 5 feet. So you're looking at a 40-foot Marshmallow Man,
right?
Which is not really a representation.
Do we go back to the Ecto 1? Did we mention those already?
We didn't. I talked about that there's like little silicone
There's little silicone slimes that you could toss on the windshield and pieces, 4 of them, which is, once again, for a kid, a nice piece of role play, right?
But that's the first thing that's going to get lost.
It will get lost. And if you notice, there's supposed to be an antenna on the back that's already lost. There's a second antenna here.
Yeah, that curves around.
I don't know where the hell that.
Yeah, it's okay.
It happens.
It's pretty, all in all, it's pretty impressive. Playmobil, I think, did something really smart in that they went off of the original toys, which collectors really prefer the original movie.
Right.
And they stuck with what was good, and they've sold out of this stuff. It's hard to find already.
They could have went with the new movie. It would have made sense to go with the new movie.
Yeah.
But it was a better idea to go with the old movies.
I think so. This is great. Really nice stuff.
Good.
Do you have anything else you want to say about it?
Yeah, this is the only time you're going to see it because you're never going to take yours out of the box. But other than that, that's all I wanted to say.
I'll take it out of the box.
No, you won't.
I just haven't had time.
That's what I got
I will
to
say one thing. The stickers that go around whatever the tubes are on the side, they're already peeling off. So those are going to come off.
Okay.
Because
there's 15 tiny stickers, and with people with big hands, it's very difficult to get them on and get them to work.
It's almost like you've got to use some sort of like adhesive to stick on it first and then put it on just to hold it, because they're peeling off already. So
what a disaster.
I know. It's the worst. But
the Ghostbuster car, the vehicle, Ecto 1, was a disaster. It was a rebuilt vehicle that Ray built, right?
Yeah. I mean, you don't really know whether it's a hearse or an ambulance. You gather it's probably an ambulance because it does have a gurney in the back.
Mm-hmm.
But a hearse does make a little bit more sense, too, if you're hunting ghosts.
Right.
So the vehicle was used for both.
Good job. Jolly good job, Playmobil.
Wow.
Something you would not expect out of a German company that really designs youngster play toys.
But really solid.
With their own touch. You know what I mean? Their characters are well known for their kind of style. Their stylized characters. So to go this deep on a licensed character, it's a good idea.
Yeah. And that's why it's sold out.
Yep.
We'll be back.
Communities Digital News, built by the writers and editors that deliver the news 24 hours a day. Visit comdiginews.com. That's COMMDIGI news.com. And support the next evolution in news.
Can you sing the Wonder Woman theme?
Go ahead.
Doesn't it go
Wonder Woman?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
The whole world is waiting for you and the power you possess.
Oh, you know
that's
more.
all I know.
You know more lyrics than I do. I only
know.
knew Wonder Woman. So number 1 at the box office.
Yes,
Wonder
congratulations, DC. Finally.
And
something really good.
It's got really good.
Finally.
It's got really good
reviews too.
Yeah, and you know what? It's also the top grossing movie or the top grossing female directed movie as well.
And top grossing World War I movie.
Yes, because that's
featuring a female.
just World War I, nothing. That's great. Good for them. That movie needed to be good.
We needed a good DC movie.
Yeah, it needed to be good. But
it's no fun making fun of them all the time.
There was one person that said, the reason it made so much money was that Chris Pine was in it. I was reading like one of these like conservative websites, and it was like, come on, seriously? No, it was just a good movie.
She was an Israeli soldier, wasn't she? I think
maybe.
Gal Gadot is a badass.
Yeah.
Without even putting the uniform on.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
good for her.
Number 2, another freshly opened movie, Captain Underpants, the first epic movie, which my kids really want to go see.
Of course.
If you're a kid, you know Captain Underpants. But this movie was not marketed. So Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Lies.
Which every critic hated, but yet it still made...
It's up to $114 million.
All right, worldwide it's made $500 million.
Of course it has.
Already.
But Orlando Bloom is back in it.
Right. Keira Knightley?
Was she back
I
in it
think
too?
she is.
Yeah, then this is it, right? They do know more?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. And then number 4, Guardians of the Galaxy,
course.
Volume 2, which has already just domestically made $355 million.
816 foreign. It's going to hit $1 billion.
It's gonna
no
be,
problem.
No problem. And then the disappointment of the summer movie season already, Baywatch.
Right. Ouch.
Which has tanked. And so, you know what?
You know what? The Rock needed it. He needed some humility.
Yeah,
because everything he does is usually great.
I mean, but he really needed it anyway because he's going to be running for president. So,
right.
You know, he can't
With
win them all.
Steve Martin, isn't that right? Or who? All right. No, Alec Baldwin, VP.
Yeah. Number 6, Alien Covenant, which is not doing great domestically. How's it doing foreign?
Not so good. It's doing terrible.
173 total on a $97 million budget.
Didn't he just reinvent the original Alien with this, kind of, from what I've heard?
This is like before it.
But I know, but isn't it the same MO as Alien?
I don't know. I wish he would get out of the way and let Neil Blomkamp make his version with Sigourney
When's
Weaver.
that coming out?
Basically, it's been put on hold because he's got another 2 Alien movies he wants to make. So I think he's just kind of being a prick.
Okay.
Which sucks because, I don't know.
Hey, language.
Well, whatever.
You know, we've got a lot of younger kids listening.
We have nobody listening.
I mean, your kid's upstairs.
There's a movie that came out by Warner Brothers called Everything, Everything. Do you have any idea what that is?
I don't.
Okay. And then Amy Schumer's movie number 8, Snatched.
That's with Goldie Hawn.
Did not do well. And then Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Diarrhea of a Wimpy Kid.
Not doing well.
No.
King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, not doing well.
That's been written up on how bad of a movie and how bad it tanked.
And then the sad part about it is that number 11 is Boss Baby with $170 million.
Go figure.
Alec Baldwin, you do no wrong.
Yes.
So what's coming in for next week?
I think we should look at the live-action Beauty and the Beast, which I've got.
Okay. Logan?
We should definitely. I finally got Logan in 4K UHD.
You're going to do the noir version?
I looked at that, too. It's killer. Both of them are killer.
John Wick.
Oh, I watched John Wick.
Did you? Should we talk about it briefly, or should we wait until next time?
You know, he kills like over 200 guys in this movie.
So ridiculous. But the ending is like sequel, like it was.
And I forced my kid last night to watch Unforgiven, which is a fantastic film. But the problem is, current films are so fast-paced and full of outrageous violence that when you watch Unforgiven, you're just like, oh, really? That's it?
Well, it's just like I finally saw Magnificent Seven compared to the first one.
Yeah.
And it's like, geez, there's so much that happens in the second one.
Right.
I loved the remake.
I loved it too. It was great.
It was good. John Wick, we'll talk about it next week.
Yep. And we'll also do some, I think I'm going to do some Father's Day picks.
Okay.
I was a little late today because I was cooking pizzas.
I thought maybe you had just overslept or something.
No. Portable, compact pizza oven.
You're going to bring one next time, right?
I shall, maybe, yeah.
Wow, that went from no.
It's a lot of work, man.
Is it?
I expected you make the dough, slap some sauce and cheese on, and throp it in the...
No.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Nothing's easy.
So
it's not as easy as a phone call to Domino's. Let me put it that way.
Well,
all right.
Okay.
Nothing is.
All right. Well, it sounds like we got a
big show next week.
And
really big shoe.
And as always, you can catch us on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube.
If you ever post the episodes,
it's up. I know. You know what's funny?
It took a while.
It was up, and I forgot to hit the publish button on Facebook. It literally sat open.
Oh.
But it's been up for days.
So it hurts me.
So
right. So
some of you should have heard it.
The 3 of you. So that's awesome. I'll actually try and get it promoted.
And you know what? After we watched Split, I went back and watched Unbreakable.
Yeah.
It's still so good.
It's good.
Ugh.
I agree.
One of the best comic book movies ever.
We appreciate your support.
We speak your name, maybe? I don't know.
Joe says. We appreciate your support.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where you were going with this. All right. Well, I think I'm still Todd Stowell.
Oh, yeah. I'm the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Oh, very nice.
For this week.
Your scale is off.
I know.
All right.
Nice shirt. Bye.
Thanks. See you.